So welcome to Knights Templar on Shekinah Europe. I'm here with Father Sean Goff, and today what we're going to explore is just the Chi-Rho. So what it is, where it came from, and why it's used as a symbol in Christianity. So Father Sean, great to be with you here today. So first of all, what is the Chi-Rho?
It's great to be with you too, Philip. And so it's kind of interesting, isn't it, how we have in Christianity these symbols that don't necessarily at face value make a lot of sense. But I'm sure for any person who has been to a Catholic church, you'll have noticed somewhere in the church this symbol, the Chi-Rho symbol. And really the symbol is the first two letters of the name of Jesus, or maybe his title, I should say, because it's the first two letters of Christ in the ancient Greek language. So it's Chi and Rho, the first two letters, and then they're transposed one on top of the other. And that's how you get the symbol. So it's basically a short form of the name of Christ, or the name Christ, the title Christ. What's its origin, though? It's not simply that it's the first two letters of the name of Christ. The origin of this particular symbol is that it goes back to a legend that at the time of the Emperor Constantine, the Roman emperor, before he'd actually became a Christian, he was about to go into battle and he was praying, and he looked up into the sky along with many of the soldiers in his army, and he saw the Chi-Rho symbol in the sky. And he heard a voice as well, which said, "In hoc signo vincis." And that in Latin means, "In this sign you will conquer." And when he realized it was this Christian symbol, he won that battle. He realized it was a Christian symbol and studied the faith. And the rest is history, because he became a Christian himself. And that symbol just spread like wildfire across the church. And Constantine himself invested heavily in that symbol for himself personally, and for use in the court and so on and so forth. So it became a symbol quite early on in Christianity, and it's still very commonly used today as well.
So how important in general would you say symbols are in how, I suppose you could say is very big instrument there for the evangelism of Constantine, but how instrumental do you think symbols are just for evangelism in Christianity?
Well, I suppose one of the things that's helpful about symbols is that they tie us really back into history. We're not just a church of the people who are alive in the church now, but we're a church of 2,000 years of history. And these kinds of symbols, they're not at the heart of our faith. Let's not kind of inflate their importance, of course not. But they do tie us back with the saints of old and the holy people of old and the events of old. And so in that sense, they're important. And also, another reason why symbols can be important, they're not just, decorations that we have in church, but we also have to remember that God chooses to communicate his grace to us through outward signs, fundamentally through his son Jesus Christ, who took on human flesh, so became man, God became man. And so everything he did almost was like a sacrament. It was grace coming to us through these outward signs of this man, Jesus Christ, who was full of grace himself, who was grace himself. And so because of the incarnation, our faith as Catholic Christians is incarnational. The material world around us, signs, symbols, such as, the pouring of water in baptism and making the sign of the cross and whatever else it might be. But signs and symbols and material things now can become means and modes by which God brings his grace into the world, whether through the seven sacraments, through the sacramentals, or just through Christian signs and symbols as well.
Would you say a symbol is a beautiful way in which a significant amount of knowledge and information can sort of be conveyed and expressed?
I think that's true. Yeah. So something so simple as the Chi-Rho symbol or other Christian symbols, they, I know from my own like childhood and stuff, I'd ask questions about what's their meaning. A bit like we're doing, I suppose, in this conversation. But what can start off as something so simple, or maybe just seems like a decoration on the back of a priest's vestment or on one of the stained glass windows or something like that, can become the start of a conversation which goes on to become much more fruitful.
So going on the other hand, would you say it's important to keep clear and stay away with some symbols as well? So some symbols are very powerful and can really, really help us in our faith. On the other hand, there's some that, we should completely steer away from. And I suppose also linked to that, would you say there's some sort of spiritual link sort of attached to a symbol?
I think there are certain objects or certain symbols which can, I don't know whether intrinsically is the right word, but in themselves, they've been created for some sort of evil purpose. And so if I'm talking about a thing, that might be a Ouija board which has been created for this express intent of connecting with dead people or evil spirits or whatever it might be. And then you've got certain symbols, like symbols of the occult or of demonic worship or something like that. These symbols, let's say it's inherent in them. And these things, it's inherent in them, their connection to evil. And so just as, through these holy symbols, we can be drawn closer to God, so too we can be put at risk spiritually through these inherently evil symbols. So they are something to be avoided, certainly not to be paranoid about. We've got God on our side and he's way bigger and stronger than the evil ones. We don't need to be paranoid. We don't need to be worried and, constantly fretting. No, but yeah, we certainly should keep a healthy distance. Let's just put it that way.
Well, yeah, Father Sean, thank you for exploring that with us. And thank you for joining us for Knights Templar on Shekinah Europe.